Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. And I've been doing a series of videos about unsolved murders, cases that just need talking about again because they've gone cold, if you like, or the police will say that no case is ever closed completely. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the unsolved case of Nicola Ray. And Nicola, we hope she's presumed murdered, let's say. Nicola Ray has never been found. Her body has not been found. But the police are treating her case as a murder investigation and have been doing ever since she disappeared on the 2nd of May 2000. So 24 years have passed, 24 long years for her friends and family, for this mother of two. Now, we have to hope that DNA improvements and change in allegiances over time, these mean that any case has the potential to be solved, doesn't it? So we have to hope that maybe one day Nicola's case will be solved. So, let's chat. Now, I want to say it's been quite difficult finding out information about Nicola Ray. Very difficult. Maybe it's because it's an ongoing investigation. I don't know. There's not lots of information out there on the internet. And I want to make it clear that, all the videos that I make, they're just from information gleaned from the internet normally, or information people have sent me in. And, in this day and age, there's normally quite a lot of information available on the internet. Not in this case. Quite odd, actually. Very difficult finding out information about Nicola. Now, I have done a video about Nicola Ray quite a while ago now, but I thought it was time, as I'm doing this Unsolved series, it was time to maybe do another one, because we have to keep these cases in our mind. Imagine 24 years not knowing what has happened to your daughter. Nicola was 30 years old. She was a daughter and she had two children that have spent 24 years not knowing what's happened to their mum. She had a partner, and unless it's all a bit, the jury's out a little bit about Nicola's partner, because Nicola's partner was actually arrested twice on suspicion of murder, but has never been charged. So, it could be that Nicola's partner had nothing to do with her disappearance, in which case he spent 24 years not knowing what's happened to his fiancee, because they were due to get married later that year. So, Nicola, let's talk a little bit about Nicola, but it's difficult even finding out any information about Nicola. It's quite unusual, because normally you can find out, some information about what kind of person someone was, etc. But I've found this really difficult to glean information about Nicola herself even. So she was last seen. What we do know is Nicola was last seen leaving her friend Loretta Kenny's house on the 2nd of May 2000. Now, for this case, this case took place in Basildon in Essex. So let's just have a look at the area that we're looking at. So Basildon is round here. It's not far from London, you know, Essex. For people who don't know much about the geography of the UK, because this is an unsolved case from the UK. Basildon is in Essex. Essex is just near London, sort of to the right. Would that be the east or the west? I'm not very good with those kind of things. That is where this case happened, round about this area. There it is there in the red there. That is Basildon. That's where this case happened, or that's where Nicola disappeared all those years ago, you know, a long time ago now. As I say, the year in May 2000, so 24 years, over 24 years. So Nicola, let's go back to the photo of Nicola. I couldn't find any other photos of Nicola either. I have seen one other picture of her, but I couldn't find it to make this video. I don't know what's happened to it. You know, nothing's easy to find about this case. But Nicola was 30 years old, as I say, a mother of two. And she'd been for a drink with her friend Loretta in the Moon on the Square pub in Basildon. Let's have a look at this place. Now, it's closed now, but I believe it's closed now. It may have opened up again as something else. But this is the Moon on the Square pub in Basildon. And that's where they had a few drinks that night. And then they went back to Loretta's house, which was not far away from where Nicola lived. So Loretta's house is on the Felmore's estate in Basildon, and that's where they went back to for another few drinks, I presume, or for a chat or whatever, in the early hours of the morning. Her friend Loretta was 43 years old. And then shortly afterwards, Nicola left to walk the very short distance, less than a mile, back to her own house in Voysey Gardens. So let's have a look at that. I mean, it's just such a short walk. You know, so this is the Felmore's estate. And I'm not sure exactly which house it was, but it was somewhere here. And Nicola, presumably, has walked this way, 13-minute walk. Nicola set off and was never, ever seen again. Now, although it's only a 13-minute walk, as we know, a lot can happen in 13 minutes. It was the early hours of the morning. Where had Nicola had, you know, a little bit to drink? Maybe somebody saw her walking, saw her staggering, took advantage of the fact, you know, that she was a little bit worse for wear, you know, as far as alcohol was concerned. Or did she arrive home and something happened to her at home? So these are the questions, aren't they, that are in the police's minds, in everybody's mind. Something happened to Nicola. People do not just disappear into thin air. Nicola was there 1 minute, she left her friend's house, and then she was gone. She never arrived at her destination, according to her partner, Tim. So where is she? What happened to her? So this is Timothy Barnes. Timothy was her partner. They were due to get married that following August. So this happened in the May. And the wedding date came and went, and still no sign of Nicola. She just poof, disappeared into a puff of smoke. But of course, we know that people don't just disappear. Nicola is somewhere. You know, something happened to her. Somebody knows what happened to her. And whether the answer lies close to home, as the police have suspected, but nothing has ever, you know, been... Tim has never been charged. Her partner, Timothy, has never been charged with Nicola's murder. So we have to presume that he is innocent. So if it wasn't him Who was it? This is the question. Let's go back to the picture of Nicola. And the thing is, if Timothy is innocent, you know, it must have been so very difficult for him as well over all these years. And not only losing his fiancée, but being under suspicion, you know, for what had happened to her. So Nicola left to walk that short distance, less than a mile, back to her own house in Voysey Gardens. About 1:30 in the morning. That's about the time that she left, but I don't think we have an exact time. So yeah, that's where Nicola lived with her fiancé, Tim, or Timothy Barnes, who was 29. They were due to marry in August that same year, and according to Timothy, she never arrived home. Time went on. As I say, the planned day of their wedding in August that year came and went without any phone call, any contact from Nicola. Presumably her children's birthdays came and went year in, year out. Nothing from Nicola, nothing at Christmas, etc. You know, because when people, if Nicola had decided, you know, to leave of her own accord, quite often times like children's birthdays, etc., are the times that people will get back in touch. Nothing from Nicola. So she was known to go to pubs and nightclubs in the Basildon area. You know, she was a barmaid, so people would have known her. She's described as 5'5" tall. As I say, not many photos out there about her, or not that I could find. Medium build, blue eyes, long fair hair with a pale freckled complexion. And they say that she was last seen wearing a miniskirt, sleeveless top, and was carrying a small blue and white rucksack. So if any of those items you've ever found, you know, if you're watching, you're from that area, these are the sort of things that can turn up, can't they? You know, the clothes and things like that. So a miniskirt doesn't say, I don't know what colour it was. It wasn't released what colour it was. A sleeveless top. I know that's not very good description either, is it? But carrying a small blue and white rucksack. We could do with some photos. I mean, of course, this is quite a long time ago, 20 odd years ago. Nowadays, they tend to release, don't they? When somebody goes missing, they'll release, if they haven't got photos of the actual items themselves, you know, or photos of the person wearing them, they will release photos of similar items. But as far as I could find, I couldn't find anything. Anyway, it's believed that she walked past the Felmore shopping parade towards the home she shared with her partner and children. Now, let's just have a look again at Timothy Barnes. This is the only picture I could find of him. Very difficult to find any sort of information about this case. And to be honest, this photo I found over a year ago when I did the original video that I did about Nicola Ray. And I couldn't find it this time round, but luckily I could go into my video, my previous video, and take it from there. But I couldn't find it this time round at all. I don't know why. I mean, it'll be out there somewhere, I suppose. Photos, unless, you know, it's been removed for some reason. So I wonder, you know, now there was some talk that Timothy Barnes was the cousin of Paul Ansell, who's the partner of Nicola Bully, who went missing last year. But I can't find any evidence of that. Now, I remember people talking about that at the time, and I'm sure somebody showed some evidence. But again, I cannot find anything to say. And there's no reason to think that, because, of course, Paul Ansell, he is from the north of England. He's from the Preston area, in Skip area. So why he would be related to Timothy Barnes, he is from the area where Nicola Bulley was born, around that area, but there's no evidence to suggest that he is related to Paul Ansell. May just be one of those rumours that were flying around at the time. I remember thinking it at the time because I'd seen it somewhere, but now I can't find any evidence of that, so we have to presume that that actually is not true. Yeah, so despite the fact that Tim, who's an engineer apparently, has been arrested twice arrested but never charged, and the house and garden that they shared together has been searched, actually dug up. No charges have been brought and not a trace of Nicola has ever been found. So a number of searches and digs were performed in that area, including at the property that they shared when he was still living there in 2010, but nothing was found. Police used ground penetrating radar and they looked for areas on the property, including the garage, his garage, where a disturbance might be found. Nothing was found. So you can imagine there was, a lot of consternation amongst the neighbours, etc. A lot of upset, but nothing was found. Nothing has. I think it's actually. I mean, unless there are more things, but the police are just not releasing them because it's obviously an ongoing investigation, even though it's sort of so long ago that it happened that she disappeared. Maybe that's why the police are just not releasing information. But that to me is just strange in itself, because normally in cases there is some evidence, something, even if it doesn't, it hasn't led to a conviction. A bit like when we covered Nicola Payne, another Nicola Payne who disappeared, but there was evidence in that case that, and two people were tried for her murder. Unfortunately, they were acquitted. Personally, I think they probably did do it, but that's just an opinion. They were charged and they were acquitted, so they're innocent in the eyes of the law. But there was evidence. There was some, I don't know, sightings. Didn't nobody see Nicola walking home that night? Or maybe did somebody pick her up? I don't know if that's around the time that Christopher Halliwell was operating, that taxi driver. You just don't know. It may be absolutely nothing to do with her partner, Timothy Barnes, and he might have been vilified all these years for nothing. And it may be somebody completely different that just picked her up as she was walking home. 13 minutes, it only takes 1 minute, to kidnap someone, abduct someone. So it doesn't matter that it was a short walk. Unfortunately, something could have befallen Nicola during that walk. And of course, then we didn't have the CCTV that we have now. There wasn't the dash cam footage, etc. She probably didn't have a mobile phone. I don't know. We've not heard anything about the phone data, if there was any, if she did have a mobile phone. It's very limited, as I say, very limited, the information about this case. And, I still think it's important to talk about it maybe once a year, this case, like all the other unsolved ones. At least once a year, they need bringing back into the public eye, because of the fact that at the end of the day, allegiances do change over years. And somebody who might have known something 20 years ago, not wanted to say anything through fear or whatever, now maybe in a different position. So there's always a chance that somebody might come forward. So again, with these videos that I do about missing people, I would ask you to share them if you can. because you just don't know when somebody might be watching it and then just suddenly think, oh yeah, and it could be somebody who doesn't live in that area anymore. That's the other thing. Sometimes, people move, don't they? Move around the country, move about. It could be somebody who lived there then, doesn't live there now, hasn't really heard much about this case, and then suddenly they're watching that video and they think, oh yeah, I was there then. Even maybe we're in the bar that night, the pub that night, saw somebody follow the girls out. There's a million things that could have happened. Anyway, apparently, police said in 2010 that they would be taking no further action against Timothy Barnes, which, it's obviously it's good for Timothy and it's good in general if he is innocent. But it's, again, a bit crushing for her family. Maybe her family know a little bit more. We don't know anything about their relationship. I don't know if it was a good relationship, a bad relationship. Was there a history of domestic violence? Or, they were getting married that August. So, maybe it was a really good relationship. We just don't know. There's just I don't think I've ever researched a case that's so, because it's quite famous, if that's the right word. It's quite well known. A lot of people will know about Nicola Ray. So it's quite unusual for a case that's so well known to have so little things to talk about. Most cases that I do, unsolved ones, even if they're old cases, there's a lot of information to talk about. Sometimes there's too much information, if you like. It takes, because originally there were 3 women that I was going to do an unsolved video about: Nicola Payne, Nicola Ray, and another young girl, a much younger girl, Lindsay. And when I started doing the video about Nicola Payne, there was so much information. I knew that it was too much for just to do a video about 3 people. It needed a video all of its own. And now Nicola Ray's story, if you like, is different. There's hardly any information about this lady. Why is that? Why is that? I wish I had more information to tell you, but I don't know much about her as a person. Couldn't find much out about her, what she was like as a person. As I say, what their relationship was like. Was there any history of, was there any reason to be concerned that it might have been Timothy because of things that had happened in the past, as I say, domestic violence or whatever? I don't know. I've no idea. Anyway, apparently Nicola's mum, Janet Judd, said in 2010, it's disappointing that we still haven't got an answer about what happened or any closure. I'm pleased the police did what they did, which was dig up all the garden, etc. At least they were trying to help. So, yeah, very little has been released about who Nicola was as a person, what her relationship with Timothy was like. We don't know who reported her missing or when they reported her missing. Now, I'm not even sure, though one article said that her children lived with her at that address. I don't know if they were Timothy's children. I don't know. And then another article that I read said we didn't know whether her children lived at that address. So we have to assume that the very fact that the police arrested Timothy twice, they must have had a reason to suspect him, mustn't they? Because he was arrested in 2001 and then he was arrested again in 2010. So when did she actually, let me just check again when she went missing. Yeah, so she went missing in 2000. He was arrested the following year and released. And then he was arrested 10 years later or 9 years later. So the police must have had a reason to think it, to suspect him. But they've never given any information as to why he was a suspect or as to why he no longer is a suspect, if that is true. So the police have said that he's no longer a suspect, or they're not, but Is that true? You know, we don't know, because nobody else has been named as a suspect. It's just a complete mystery, isn't it? I mean, you know, they're all mysteries just by virtue of the fact that they're unsolved. They're mysteries. But I think this is more mysterious than most, because there literally is nothing. It feels like there is nothing. And maybe that is because the police do feel that they're going to be able to bring a case against someone sooner or later. And that's why there's absolutely nothing been released, possibly. So they have said that no case is ever closed. But you know what? Nicola's family must wonder, are they ever going to get the answers that they need? So if you do know anything at all about this case, anything about Nicola, anything about what happened, you know, all those years ago, that night, if you can help this case in any way, shape or form, maybe at the time, you know, you were scared, please contact the police. Please, please, please. Because her children, you know, they've gone so they'll be young adults now. They've gone all this time without knowing what happened to their mum. So let's just go back and just look, just trace back. So this is where it happened. In Basildon, in Essex. This is Nicola's partner, Timothy. This is the walk that Nicola made after she left her friend Loretta's house here in Felmore Estate to do this very short 13-minute walk to Voysey Gardens, and disappeared in a puff of smoke, practically, didn't she? So according to Timothy Barnes, she did not turn up. She did not return. So according to Loretta, her friend, she left the house 1:30 in the morning to make this very short walk home. According to her partner, Timothy, she did not arrive home. So either she arrived well, there's three, really, if you think about it, there are three possibilities. Did she leave the house of her friend? I mean, I don't think her friend is in any way, shape or form a suspect. But if we were looking at it from a totally dispassionate point of view, that's the first possibility, isn't it? Did she even leave that house? The second one is something happened to her during this 13-minute walk. And the third one is something happened to her when she arrived home. So one of those things happened. You know, something happened. Something happened to Nicola in one of those places. And will it ever be resolved for her family? This is the pub, the Moon on the Square. That's where they were drinking earlier that night. Were you ever in that pub? Do you know Nicola? Did you know Nicola? Did you? I mean, I don't. She was a barmaid apparently, but they haven't even released which bar she worked in. So I can't show you, you know, can't show you a picture of where she worked and say, well, this is where she worked. Did you ever go in there? Did you know her? But anyway, we know that she went in here and she was in there that night with her friend, but I don't have a picture of her friend either. You know, it's a very difficult, it's a difficult case to report on just because of the absolute lack of information. So when you look at these pictures, you know, just look at Nicola smiling there and you think, if only she could speak, you know, if only she could speak and tell us what happened to her, because her friends and family, especially her daughters and her mum, they do deserve answers. Where is Nicola Ray? Okay, so that's all I've got for this video. There literally is no other information. If you've got any information, please contact the police there. You know, I'm sure there's still looking into this case. There'll still be an open file and they'd be glad to get any information. And maybe one day it will be resolved. Maybe one day Nicola will be found. It seems unlikely that she's safe and well. That's not going to happen. The police have said it is a murder inquiry. Now, that is interesting in itself, really, because for them to say it is a murder inquiry, they must have a reason for that, but they haven't told us what the reason is. You know, the police are normally quite reticent, aren't they, about saying something is a murder inquiry until they know for sure. But they've got their reasons. They've got their reasons, haven't they, to say it's a murder inquiry. Anyway, so we have a candle for Nicola. Rest in peace, fly free. Hope you're at peace. I don't think she is at peace. Sorry, that's just come into my head. She's not at peace, and she's not at peace because she hasn't been found. That's my opinion. I think most of these unsolved cases, if they've not been found and not taken home to the family, I don't think they are at peace. Once they're found, even whether the murderer's found or not, I don't think. I think the thing is, it's the being found. You know, their remains being found and taken home to their family seems to me make it feel more like they're at peace. Now, I just want to, was the other case that I did, the other Nicola Payne. She also has not been found, 18-year-old mother of one. I'll try and remember and link up the unsolved British crimes to this video. And the next one, and it's the last one in this short series, it will be Lindsay Reimer. So it's a series of 3 missing women, girls. So the first one I did was Nicola Payne, then and then this one, Nicola Ray, and then I'll be looking at the murder of Lindsay Reimer. Now, Lindsay was found, a body was found, but the person who did it has never been brought to justice. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you don't mind, please like the video and share it, because the more people get the information about these missing people, the better. So, till I see you again, may your God always go with you. Bye.